What's good? What's going on, y'all? Y'all tune in with Prime Point Media, where people recognize one-man entertainment. I'm Alex Secchia, joined by a familiar face. We just had him on recently, Matt Mccabe, owner of Primal Nutrition in Glassboro, Cherry Hill. He's taking over South Jersey, and his new brand, Resilientoneco, where he turns Cubs to Lions. Matt, how you doing, brother?
What's up, Alex? I'm happy to be back here.
Bro, I'm happy to have you back.
Yeah.
Man, you were a tank. You killing it. First of all, my man rolled up in a Tesla. A Tesla. You know you're killing it when you're rolling around in a Tesla. My man,
something.
He's on the computer while the car drives for him. He's doing business while he's driving, literally. Nah, but what's new with you, man? First of all, Happy New Year. Last time we spoke, it was the old year. So how's everything going for you in the new year?
Yeah, everything's great with me. Honestly, I got a lot of new things coming and, just staying active, keep pushing the things I'm already pushing and
pushing, exactly. Things he's wearing right now.
there you go.
Primal Nutrition. Where's your hoodie say? Where'd that come from?
Fuck average.
Yeah. Where'd that come from, man? You put that on the hoodie with your logo. That was smart.
Yeah.
That was smart.
Yeah, because, everyone out here, they just want to get by. They want to get by. But, that's just doing, the bare minimum, Mm-hmm. And, that's average.
Right.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that. No, we got to do it all.
People just get the job to fulfill that time that they're in.
They're happy with that.
They're happy with that. You're not happy where you're at.
Not happy with that.
We're both not happy. So you just said perfectly. People get a job, so they'll look at their situation. They see they're broke. They see a place hiring. They go fit the job to feel that they're temporary broke. But then they go and party and they live that little lifestyle, the young 20s.
Now you're check to check. You're living for your weekends.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can never build anything off that.
You can never build anything off that.
Yeah.
So literally going into that, the expectation versus the reality of owning your own business. Right. People have this expectation. If you're a business owner, you're probably making buku bucks and this, that, the third. But at the end of the day, I think you told me before the show starts, you're 3 years into this.
3 years into this, yeah.
Owning your own stores, and you already have two.
Two of them, yeah. Actually, you know what? We didn't even clear the 3 years. We're at 2 years and I want to say 7 or 8 months.
So where did this journey, one more time, reiterate, where did it really start with Primal?
So going back to it, I worked for Primal for a couple years and then it got to a point where I couldn't work for that minimum wage anymore. So I threw it on credit cards. I opened up my own shops and here we are now.
Yeah.
Had to pay those debts off to get to a comfortable spot, but
how scary was that?
For most people, it's scary as fuck. For me, I've developed maybe at the time it was really scary, but I've developed a mentality that betting on myself is always going to be better than betting on a job to raise me to a comfortable point or betting, gambling, I'd rather gamble on myself because then 100%. I'm in charge of the results. I'm in charge of the action to create those results.
Exactly. Were you with your girlfriend that you're with now when you put those credit cards out?
Yes. Yeah.
Question. I feel like, because from my stance, when I'm alone and I have no one with me, it's easier to do what I want with my brand, with my thing, because I have no one else I can affect.
Right.
When you have someone with you, a significant other and stuff, how much more pressure did that apply to you? Not saying she wasn't supportive. How much more pressure initially, mentally, did it apply on you?
So we didn't have a baby at the time, which was good. Right. So I wasn't too concerned with it. I don't think she was concerned either, because once I had my plan of action and I started hustling towards it, it's the only thing that was going to create the results I wanted was me putting forth the action. And it's all I think about. It's all I do. There's no way I wasn't going to make it work. You know what I mean?
100%.
So she didn't really have any doubts on me.
Yeah. So it was kind of easier in that space. Do you ever feel like going forward, now that you've done it, you have your stores, do you ever feel mentally sometimes you get scared, those doubts be kicking in?
Always. Every morning.
How do you handle them?
I fight them. Every morning I go to the gym. I work hard on myself. Mm-hmm. I beat the first battle.
Yeah.
Because going to the gym, you basically go to the gym to suffer, right?
Uh-huh. Oh, yes.
For the good outcomes.
For the good outcomes, exactly.
But if I was, not going to the gym every day, not creating what I wanted. Mm-hmm. But it's the same thing with business, you know what I mean?
Right.
So if I go in the gym and I start talking to people, That's what's going to create more income at my stores.
Yeah. Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Gaining traction.
And it's just like, I feel like the biggest piece of that is action. It's like that call to act. Like if you're not putting forth that action, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah. Because we could just sit up here.
We could sit there and talk about it all day.
Yeah.
It's not going to create results.
Right.
You know?
100%. So when you're out there, when you're doing that call to action, stuff like that, because when I go out there, I feel like we're obviously in two different fields, right?
Right.
This is broadcasting. You're in the, what would you call your field?
I guess I'm in nutrition.
Nutrition?
Yeah.
Sales, I guess.
Nutrition, maybe. Sales, and then also, I guess, just business in general.
So what would you say to people at the moment when they're building their brand and they're doing their thing that aren't really seeing the return right away? Because when they're doing something that doesn't relate into product sales or doing something for the buck, but for that bigger picture down the line, what would you say to those people that are investing way more than it's coming in initially?
You need to put forth more action.
More action.
Yeah.
Damn, I felt that one.
Because most people dude, they just want to push something and they just, hopefully it'll grow. If not, whatever.
Yeah.
No, no, you got to literally go out there and get the people you want to wear your shit, that are going to rep your brand, that are going to keep it growing. You got to build those relationships so people, they fuck with you,
right?
100%. Everyone expects oh, I'm going to start this brand and it's just going to take off. No.
You need a game plan.
No, Nike, all those big brands. I'm sure they had to put so much action forth for them to blow up as big as they are.
Right. 100%.
They didn't just blow up because of nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a game plan. They had to invest and you had to put a lot of time, money in.
Yeah.
All that stuff to really make it work. So you would say right now, the best thing is you going out there, almost doing what you did at the start, giving everyone a t-shirt. If you bought something, here's a t-shirt or whatever, something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was just handing out free money.
Where'd you learn that? Or just something you decided to do yourself?
So actually, I did learn it. I learned it from the guys that opened up the Primal Philly location. So I'll give you a little story about them. When they first opened up their store, I think they ordered 1,000 t-shirts and they printed the number wrong on the t-shirts. So these guys decided, oh, it's a good idea let's just give away the t-shirts because the phone number's wrong. And right when they did that, they beat out every nutrition store in Philly.
Really?
Yeah.
No crap.
Because, people want to feel like they're a part of something. So once you're wearing the Primal shirt, you see other people wearing it. Primal Instinct, it's got this cool thing behind it. People are really about it now.
Yeah.
Whereas if you let's say they just opened up Primal and they didn't do anything, they just expected people to come in. It's never going to work.
Never going to work. You have to put your name out there. You got to get people seeing it.
People want to know you.
Yeah, exactly. So when it comes to expectation, right? People expect probably fast success or anything like that. What would you say the timeline is for anyone starting their own craft or thing that's kind of yo, it could take, is it endless? Is it, you looking at 10 years, 7 years, 2 years? Or is it, what are you thinking?
So timeline wise, I feel like it would be very different for 100%. Everyone's different individual goals.
100%.
With that though, so everyone thinks oh, okay, I'm going to listen to this podcast, I'm going to read this book, and then I'm going to feel a little bit better about going forth with my, goals or pushing my brand, blah, blah, blah. That's cool, but that does nothing for you. It goes back to what I was saying about that action. The action, the going out every day, the getting people, talking to people, creating relationships. That's what's going to build your brand.
Yeah.
Because we could sit here and listen to every entrepreneur book out there.
But if you don't take the action.
It's just sitting up here.
What about the people around you taking action, right? When you there's people around you, I feel like this is what really judges character.
Right.
When you have everything, it'll determine your character. When you have nothing, it's going to determine everyone's character around you.
Right.
How do you feel about that when it comes to when you were first starting out versus as you're getting more traction?
So at the beginning, when I first started promoting my store and everything, man, there would be even times where people would kind of look at me and kind of almost laugh at me.
Yeah.
And I didn't take it personal because they had no idea who I was. Now where I'm at, it's kind of like people have heard of me. So they're all like all about it. It can beat you up. It can really beat you up at first, but you just have to like realize like, hey, I'm starting something new.
Right.
No one's going to know me.
Yeah.
How do I put on this good first impression for these people? You know, whether they laugh at me or not, who cares?
Because you know yourself.
I know myself.
And everything's good.
Yeah.
You have that strong mentality, that lion mentality. Nothing's really going to break you down.
No.
Because I feel like a lot of times people will join for that fast success. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, when you have nothing, I'll be honest, like in my situation where I'm at, that's what scares me so much. You know, a lot of this stuff isn't cheap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, not saying what you do isn't cheap either.
No,
You're in the same-
yeah.
I guess you're like
fucking
in the same boat.
a lot of money.
And you invest that in yourself. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you're putting all that money into something that you want to make go long term.
Right.
Which in a lot of times in my scenario, I don't have that funds. You know what I'm saying? That's that. Instead of going out, that's buying that mixer right there.
Right.
Instead of, you know, going to Top Golf, that's the lights or something like that. I replace. That's what I do. And then that's why I go back to asking that question, you know, when you have a significant other, like, how do you get over that? Like, and then when I said I felt that, I was like, damn, that's crazy. Because I'm in that same position.
Right.
I'm like, oh, this ain't making me no return.
Yeah.
I'm putting all this money into it. So I'm like, damn, I want to see how you felt when it comes to like seeing people before you have it versus after. Because once you get it, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. And it is crazy that you're talking about it too, because I feel like it's a big like it's like a mindset shift, right? It's going from
100%.
But it's also like staying in that place you started. So like whatever's fueling your fire in the beginning to create that hustle, you don't forget that when you get the money. When you get the money,
Facts.
you go back to that and you hit that even harder. So something in jujitsu too that like they talk about a lot is like the white belts are super eager and they're learning everything, right? And they love it. And like you never want to lose that white belt mentality as you progress higher up the ranks.
Because then you get comfortable.
Because then you get comfortable.
And that's where everything dies.
You start getting lazy. You're not interested in trying new techniques or, you know, you always want to have that white belt mentality.
Because you'll never know everything. The moment you start acting like you do is where you start slipping and you start losing everything.
Right.
The way I always looked at it is, even now, I'll see people and I'll reach out to people in our network. I've had someone, the show's going to come out soon, no visuals, but the episode will be out. Someone high profile, Lance 210, we all know him.
Yeah.
He came on the show for free. I'll have other individuals who do have either less of a following of him, but more still have a name, and they'll charge me $5,000. They'll write back, stuff like that. I'm like, oh, $5,000 just for you to sit down and talk with me?
Right.
I'm like, damn. And I get that. But I like to look at it this way. I want to see what you think of it. If I ever got that big, or when the show gets that big and has that following and has that crowd and the umbrella and the people behind it, I don't think I would ever charge someone who is at the point I once was, just starting out, that much money just because of my name. Like, how do you feel about that?
Man, I feel that like so much because part of my business is like not gearing it to, let's say it's the nutrition, not gearing it to just like bodybuilders or power lifters, you know? I want to gear it towards everybody. You know, I want everybody to feel included. But bringing up those people that are younger and they want to learn from you only makes you better because they might have things that you don't have, you know, or things that they can teach you.
Right.
And it's hard because you really have to drop your ego for it, right? Because once you start getting the money and everything, you start feeling like you're some big hot shot. But it's just remembering like, hey, I was once in a place where they were. How can I help them?
100%.
Yeah.
I feel that. That's why I look around so much and it's like, even you probably do it too. You give what you don't have sometimes because you know what it's like.
Yeah.
When people hit you up, yo, Matt, I ain't got it right now. Can you help me out? I know for a fact you're that person to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you're definitely a genuine guy. I have so many people hit me up from the other podcast saying how nice of a dude you were.
Oh, yeah?
They're
That's
going out
awesome.
their way. They were texting me. They're like, yo, like, I'm going to go check out his store and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to bring in.
And that's something I offer to people a lot is actually like mentality stuff. Like people will constantly be negative about themselves in my store and I'll completely switch it. Like, no, you can do it. Mm-hmm. Like, because everyone wants to be like, oh, well, I got to do this, this, and that before I can. Like, let's say it's, I'm trying to think of a good example. I get it all the time with jujitsu. People are like, oh, I got to lose a ton of weight before I start training jujitsu. Like, no, you don't. You should just start right now, you know, because nothing is ever going to prepare you for what you want other than doing what the fuck you want.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
That's where the experience comes from.
100%.
It doesn't come from preparing for it.
If you tell yourself that you need to do this before you do that, it'll take as long as you give yourself time. For example, if I say I'm going to make my bed in 5 hours, it'll take me 5 hours to make my bed.
Yeah.
If I tell myself I got to make my bed now, it's urgency. I have to do it now. If I have to lose weight before I do jujitsu, I'm going to wait until I learn to lose the weight I feel like I need to lose to do jujitsu. By that time, I put off so much time.
That now you don't feel confident going in. You're
now
like,
you don't feel confident. Now you feel like you're behind everybody.
Yeah.
Or whatever your excuse is then.
Right.
Same thing with a podcast. Same thing with starting your store. Oh, I don't have the money. No, I'll put it on the credit card. I'll pay that back down the line.
That's a big thing with the store. A lot of people think like, oh, you have to have a nutrition degree before you open up a store. Well, no, you don't. You just need to learn about the products and get really good and knowledgeable about the products, and you can sell them.
What do you say to the people that are in that mentality? Here's the thing. I feel like school preps, it's a rotation. It's like your factory. It's what a system is a factory. You prep the people early. You prep us to wake up at an early time every morning, 7 a.m., 7 a.m., 7 a.m.
Right.
Get ready to work. School's work. It's really what it is. It's really what it's practically you're doing work. You go to college. Now you're in debt. You need to replace the debt with the degree you went for and the job field they tell you to go for. That only pays you so much, but it will take so long to pay that money back.
Right.
Now between your mortgage, between your car bill, between your phone, between everything else, you're in debt for the rest of your life.
Right.
Not saying that's everybody's case.
Right.
But that's the standard I feel like America's set. You are outside that standard. You went outside the norm. Why?
Man. And it's literally what you're talking about. Like, so you got $100,000 of debt. You're probably paying $1,000 a month to pay that $100,000 of debt off. Even if you're making, let's say you're making $60,000 out of school. What is that a month? $60,000.
$60,000, $5,000 a month?
$5,000 a month. So $1,000, and that's before taxes.
Yeah.
So now we're talking like
I was about to say, yeah.
$3,500 a month. You're paying $1,000 to pay off your loans. You're only making $2,500 a month.
Right.
You know?
Because that's one thing. People always tell you, what is it? It's the net pay that's before taxes. The gross pays after taxes, or do I switch that?
No, you're right. Yeah.
So they always tell you the net pay. Oh man, I got this job making $100,000 a year. That's the thing that people don't get. And it irks my soul sometimes because I'm never there to correct anybody.
Yeah.
I feel this way. If you were to tell me something, my first thing wouldn't be to contradict what you say or to question your ability or why you're doing it. So if you told me, yo, Alex, I got this really cool job where I can make $100,000 a year, but it's not in my field, but I feel really confident doing it, I wouldn't target the fact that it's not in your field. I wouldn't target it. You're not really making $100,000. That stuff's getting taxed. Plus, you got bills. You have fixed expenses you can't take care of.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people get really happy. Oh, I'm going to get this degree. I'm going to come out making $100,000 a year, but you have fixed expenses between the taxes. You're knocking that down $30,000, $40,000 when it's all said and done. If you do the math, the free money you'll have to spend is going to be a lot less than you think.
Very low. And there's also the other piece. You limit yourself. So now you're stuck at that salary. Even if like that salary could go from 60,000 to 100,000 in the future, you just limited your whole life to the most you're going to make is 100,000.
Right.
That's insane to me. Not that the people that are doing it are insane. It's how our government, the United States, has set it up for us,
Right.
you know, to lock us in that system.
And some people will be fine with that lifestyle. And we're not saying what you do is wrong or anything like that at all. People are different. We have different mindsets. We don't want that type of lifestyle. What type of lifestyle do you see for yourself? We'll knock that out the way first.
Financial freedom. You know, I want to get to a place where all I focus on is my family and training.
Big facts.
And that's because I worked my damn ass off to create that income to just roll in for me so that I can have that life.
Right.
And not to stop working. I'm going to keep working, of course.
You're always going to find something to do.
Yeah, but it's just, I can't settle for not having it all. You know, I've been at places where I've been at the very bottom. I've had nothing. I've lived in shitty apartments, you know?
Yeah.
I've lived out of my car. It's for me, it's not going to happen again.
Right.
And the only way for me to do that and like create that generational wealth for my kid, his kids, is to do it this way.
What would you say to your kid right now if he said, Dad, like, I don't want to go to college, but he's only in high school?
That's great. I think that's smart. The fact that he could think that he knew, because everybody around you is influencing you to go to college. Your teachers, your counselor, all your friends that are like, oh, I just got accepted to here, you know, look at this scholarship money. It's influencing you to maybe want to go to college or feel the need to also go to college. If my kid was smart enough at 18 to be like, hey, Dad, you know, I don't think I want to go to school because I'm not going to pay attention. I'd rather get into business with you. I'd be like, hell yeah, let's go.
Right.
Yeah, you're on the right track already. So you understand.
There's a kid where I asked at 15 years old, he watched the podcast, he reached out to me on social media, and he says like, yo, man, I don't know if school's the right thing for me, but I'm just starting. He's in high school still. He's just starting his high school journey and stuff.
Okay.
You know, you give him the basic things. Yo, man, I told him, you know, basically approach with open mind, keep your options open, understand what you really want to do outside of high school, develop your why. All that kind of generic stuff because it's not my kid.
No.
I mean, you trying to tell this kid, yo, don't go to college.
You can't tell him what to do.
You can't tell him what to do. What would you say to that kid who's watching right now? Yo, man, you're just starting high school, but you don't know if college is right for you. You're not comfortable telling your parents that.
First of all, that's awesome. And I hope I can really help influence that kid's mind. First thing I would tell this kid is, you know, get jobs, start working and start saving that money. Start understanding, pay attention to your boss and pay attention to what your boss does, you know? And it's like, start saving that money because get to a place where when you are 18, you have some money build up that you can risk it. You know, I don't know his situation. He might be living with his parents, you know, he might not be.
Right.
But get to a place where you have some money that you can kind of put on the risk. 18 years old, you can risk it.
Yeah.
You know, if I were to start right now, 25-year-old, I have a house, I have a girl, I have a kid, I got things to pay for.
No.
I can't risk it all. But when I was 22, I could risk it all.
Right.
And it's like, take advantage of that. Don't let that slip away. That time where you're young is exactly when you need to be putting it forth.
Right. And that's why I try to tell people all the time because everyone's like, yo, let's go out for like the bar. Let's go out for all that stuff. And that's what low key annoys me because you see the people, I'm sure you probably see it in your group. You have those people that are the party ones. They always want to party, always want to go out and drink and stuff. Then you have the people who are more work oriented. Yeah, I'm trying to plan. I'm trying to scale. I'm trying to do something with something.
Yeah.
And I'm doing everything I can to push that. But the ones that party get that free ride. They get to tag along because you were bros before it started. And low key annoys me because you ain't put nothing in.
I know. And it's kind of sad to me though, because they're the same people that are dressed in like full designer clothing they can't afford. They're spending money they don't even have.
Yeah.
They're not building anything.
They're not building anything.
It's kind of sad. They're trying to put on this flex to make people think they already made it. They didn't make shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They settled for that.
You're blowing that paycheck.
Yeah.
Because I'll look at it, I'm like, you hear people talk about all the time, yo, man, I work really hard, this, at the third, but then you watch them party during the summer, like it's the summer of 99, and you're like, yo, how hard did you really work? I feel like hard work, it doesn't stop.
No.
You don't take the time off because you felt you deserved it. The way I look at it is I didn't get where I wanted to be yet. Prime Point Media is not where I envisioned it at yet. So why the fuck am I taking a break?
Yeah, you don't need a break.
Why am I settling for just little positions and not making moves I think that can put this thing in the right area?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, yo, I used to work so hard. Yo, I used to have a busy schedule. My schedule died down a little bit based on according what I felt was best for me or what I wasn't getting the best deal for. But I amplify that into work that is doing what I can now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
What do you say to those people that are always like, everyone loves the idea of saying, I work hard, I had a struggle, I'm coming from nothing? Because everyone has a story.
Because it's like we can all work hard, right? But how hard did you work on yourself?
How hard did you work on yourself?
Because like you can punch in for 12 hours a day. You can work overtime. You can work 16 hours a day and you're working your ass off, man. But you built nothing for yourself. Right. You didn't take any time to work on your mind. You didn't take any time to work on your physical body. Like you're making I hate to put it this way, but you're making somebody else rich the entire time that you're working hard. And people need to recognize you can make a ton of money by not working that hard.
Right.
But it's from doing what we're talking about
that gets you there.
Yeah, because like I think we can both say I can go out 12 hours a day working hard. And I never tell anybody, oh, I'm working so hard, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I never say those words because I always know there's more to be done. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like what am I going to give myself that satisfaction for? Right. You know, that's not satisfying.
That's how you start dialing down.
Yeah, that's how you dial down. You're right.
I feel like I didn't work hard enough, to be honest with you. Everyone's like, yo, you work hard. This, that, yeah, but cool. If I work that hard that you think I did and it's not where I want to be, then damn.
And it goes back to the just getting by. You're just getting by.
Just getting by.
Yeah, I'm working hard to just get by.
Everyone's like, yo, Alex, like you everyone says stuff. I'm like, I still live at home. Granted, I'm 23. Here's my thing. I want to ask you about that too, because this is where my mental state is.
Yeah.
23 years old, he still lives at home, but a lot of people think he should be moved out on his own. But the reason why he stays home is so he can try and save more and keep investing in something that he has a vision in.
Sounds like an asset to me. It's like people don't even understand the difference between assets and liabilities. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, you move on your own. All right, now you got a liability you got to pay for. Right. What are you going to start off with? An apartment? Because you're not showing the income from your business yet to buy a house. Mm-hmm. So you got to get an apartment. Mm-hmm. Now you're just burning more money because you're paying for somebody else's mortgage that they're eventually going to own, and you don't own shit out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I look at it, I'm like, yo, give it a couple years. Then you move out or whatever, do your thing.
Yeah.
So you think it's the right path?
Definitely. Because for me, like me and my parents had like a rough time, and I got kicked out of my house after I got kicked out of college, which is a whole fun story. But I got kicked out of my house. I was living in my car for 3 months. I got an apartment that was like $600 a month. Like, man, that kind of set me back at 18 years old. You know, I probably could have been pushing more forward. Also, I mean, there's a lot of mindset stuff that helped me, right? But like staying at home, I would have saved so much more money to do what I wanted easier.
Right.
You know?
100%. Because I'm like, yo, why people apply this pressure? Here's my thing I want to get out the way. For anyone listening that might be on this wavelength, why do people apply pressure on the other people for standards that they see in themselves?
Wow.
Does that question make sense?
Yeah, it does. Okay. Yeah. And oh man, it's like they're not happy with themselves. That's the first thing I think of. Like they feel like whoever, let's say it's a buddy that's saying this to you, they feel like, oh, they just want to make it seem like they're doing better than you. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, well, I got an apartment.
Yeah.
Who the fuck
I was able to move out, do this thing with nothing, and then came up for something. That's what you need. But I feel like that's not what everyone needs all the time.
No.
You know?
But I feel like it's more of their own insecurity, and that's why they're putting it on you.
Why make
like, hey, Alex, you didn't do this yet, but I did. Right. They're just flashing it in front of your face.
That concept of work smarter, not harder. Why make it purposely harder for myself just so I can learn something that I can learn at home?
Instead, this person should probably understand your goals, see what you're using as assets to create your goals. Right. And it would make sense, but
one thing I want to talk about too is with you, similar thing. If you told somebody, I'm not saying this is you, but let's say before You start working at Primal, you get this job, you understand you can franchise off it, own your spots like you just did. You tell someone that, a friend, family member, whatever, man, I got this idea, this is what I want to do. And the first thing, what do you say to people like this? Whenever you tell someone you have something you want to do for yourself that is out of the norm, it's a risk taking, there's no security behind trying to jump off that cliff. And the first thing you do is, yeah, man, what happens if you fail? What the question they ask kind of defeats you saying it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? What do you say to those people?
They're coming... What if you fail? So if they just said, what if you fail?
In general, because it'll be like, yo, Matt, well, that's not your field. That's not what you want to do. That's not your specialty. That wasn't your background. That's not what you're going to school for.
It's like, what if I don't? You know, it's like, you can say whatever you want. It's like, what if I don't fail? And it goes back to me saying like the action thing. If I'm putting forth all this action, betting on myself to make that goal happen, why would I listen to their little negative voice?
Right.
Because they're probably... And it's funny, like usually, not to like put anyone down, and of course I don't want to be like that, but it's a very middle class mentality. You're scared to take risk. Right. You need to have your benefits. You need to have your 401k. Mm-hmm. You got to have your check coming in every month.
But that was a lifestyle that was built. People didn't understand that. What worked 50 years ago ain't going to work today and going forward. Ain't going to work for your kid. If I have a future kid, ain't going to work for mine. Stuff like that. Feel like people need to stop listening. I feel like if you don't understand the concept or the field in which someone's trying to grow in, you can't tell them advice about it. If you didn't make $1 million for yourself, if you didn't grow a business, if you didn't take a risk ever in your life or do any of those things, you can't tell someone else who's trying to do that how to do it for themselves.
And it's funny, like, dude, no one's going to give a shit until you make it anyway. No one's going to give a shit.
No one's going to care.
So just go make it fucking happen. Right. And then go back and be like, hey, this is what I did.
Yeah. Right.
Remember when you told me, what if you fail?
Yeah.
Yeah, look.
Like, people are always like, hey, man, I feel like everyone looks at money. I was never a money-oriented person. I'm not going to say it on camera, but I haven't reached a certain point, and that's a bare minimum of what people can make in a year. I haven't reached that yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I can be honest with that, but I ain't going to say a number that far. But I'm like, I'm not a money-oriented person. Everyone looks at money all the fucking time.
I honestly think it's sad. Everyone wants to be like, oh, I make 120 grand a year, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah. It's just sad to me.
But you probably hate, a lot of them hate their job.
You hate your job.
I can rattle off so many people. I'm not going to blow their spot on the show, but that
you're
make
working
that much and hate their job.
You're working 40 hours of overtime a week.
You don't see your kids that much.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
But you want to tell someone who's going to start something in the field you don't know about, but because you're quote unquote looking out for them, you're going to be like, hey man, you may not make as much money here. I want to look at a lot of people like, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I want to support my girl. I want to support our family. Do not get that twisted.
Right.
Do not get it twisted when I say I don't care about the money. Oh, no. I'm going to support my family. I'm going to support my girl and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But nah, like, don't tell me that.
It's like your happiness is more important too, right?
Exactly.
So if you're just draining away building somebody else's business, like you said, you're not happy.
You're not happy. I didn't do it for myself.
A man on top of providing for his family has to have his goals. He has to have his passions. It keeps a man sane. Yeah. It keeps a man pushing for better.
Mm-hmm. Say that one more time. Say that one more time. That was a gem. We have a lot of gems coming up. Say that one more time.
So a man on top of providing for his family has to have his goals. He has to have his passions. He has to have things he wants in his own life. And if he doesn't, he's not going to be happy. And it's funny, like I've talked to so many men about this that I can tell like aren't happy in their relationships and everything. And it's not necessarily their relationship. It's they're not chasing their goals. That they're relying on their relationship to bring them their happiness. You got to bring it yourself. Yeah.
Relationship takes two people. Chris Rock said it. He said, relationship's only hard if one person's trying. Two people can move a couch easily, but when one person's doing it, you're not going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You work for you, I'm going to work for me, and together we'll come and find our happiness in between that.
Bring it together. Yeah.
Because the way I look at it, as long as y'all got each other, what does it matter?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are so money driven. That's what Kevin Samuels talks about. Have you ever listened to his show? What are your goals for this year coming up for 2022 for Matt, his family, Primal, Resilient, all that?
Definitely opening some more spots where I'm actually currently in negotiation to buy out a location. Cool. On top of getting some managers in place to run my stores for me, because it's going to get to a point where I can't actively be there. I need to actively be outside of there.
100%.
Yeah. Which is awesome because I'm looking so forward to that because it's something, it's part of that financial freedom I was telling you about that I wanted to grow.
Right.
You know, I want to be in a place where I'm giving these guys nice salaries and I just get all my free time to keep growing the business and do my passions like we were just talking about.
Damn.
Yeah. Focus on the family. That's amazing, right?
100%, bro.
Yeah.
Where can everyone find you right now?
Oh, you can catch me at Primal. Actually, you know what? Let me give you Instagrams.
Go ahead.
It's _ Matt _ Mccabe _ then I have my Primal pages, Primal _ Glassboro and Primal _ South Jersey. You can just reach out to me on Instagram. I'm always there. I'll answer your questions.
Dope.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say to the people before we sign?
Oh, of course, Resilient too. I'm like letting that one slip through the radar. So actually, on top of that, real quick, me and Kev are actually thinking about bringing Resilient to an online nutrition brand. And we're going to kind of piggyback off my store's inventory to make that a thing. Smart. But yeah, resilientoneco is the Instagram. So check us out, shoot a message, and I'll get back to you.
Hey, my man, I appreciate your time. Appreciate you having on. I think this got to be a series where Matt comes on as a business owner and talk like this. This episode was listed with nothing but gems. And I appreciate your time, brother, for coming through. My name's Alex Secchia. You're tuned in with Prime Point Media, where people recognize one man entertainment. And until next time, folks.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.